Hey everyone, appreciate you taking some time and clicking on the videos. What's this video going to be all about? Well, I wanted to talk about life updates and just moving forward in this year. Let me just go back. Last year, it kind of started in, it was for sure May, like mid-May. I don't know what had happened, but I had gotten some of the worst back pain, some really sciatic pain in my left side that I've ever had. The pain ended up getting so severe that I had to go to the ER. After the ER, it would be a couple more weeks until I actually got to full sort of like functioning again. And then when I got to sort of like full function and full, mobility, what I wanted to do was I wanted to walk around somewhere with Shandon. And so we ended up going to Victoria Gardens. We ended up going to like Target, and like we just drove all around and like walked a bunch of places. I've been walking around in these like Reeboks, and mind you, like I've always worn sort of like this like, kind of footwear in the past. That day brought on a bunch of complications. So that day I ended up getting a blister on the pad of my foot, which was like, this is the pinky toe. The blister was right here. And so I thought nothing of it. I sometimes get blisters there just from like walking around in the wrong shoes. Like if I'm at a Halloween party and I wear some new boots that I never have, I'll get a blister, whatever. The blister had actually grown underneath a callus that I've had there since I was 28, I don't know. And if this kind of stuff kind of gets you grossed out, then I would probably advise you like skipping over a lot of like what I'm about to talk about until I get to like this year, but probably should have said that beforehand. But this blister ended up getting infected. Funny enough, I thought the blister was okay because usually just the blister just like what happens, it just pops and then like you just sort of heals. But what had happened was, birthday was June 21, blister pops. And it's just like, leaking fluid. I'm like, whatever, cool, whatever. I go to Anime Expo, which is one of the biggest walking events of the year. I walk around the LA Convention Center pretty much all day. I walk around with Shandon and I walk around with my cousin. And I think nothing of it. I'm like, oh, my foot's healed. Great. I didn't feel anything. Nothing was wrong. It came around probably the week after where Shandon was like wrapping up my foot and she's like, hey, it's starting to get a weird smell. And stuff keeps coming out of it and just smells bad. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I was like, all right, well, I mean, it looks like it's getting better because it did. It looked like it was just dry, whatever. And then I think it was that weekend. I don't remember full dates, so you have to forgive me for that. So if Anime Expo was July 4, probably like a week after that, I think it's on Saturday, where I take a shower and then I, inspect my feet. I am diabetic. I inspect my foot just to see how it's doing. And then I look at my foot, and if this is my foot and like my callus and stuff like that, my callus was lifting up like this. And you can see inside here. So this is like my foot. This is the callus that's like kind of sticking out. It's a little like flap right there, for lack of a better term. And then I lift it up. What I see inside of that little flap, two things. I see red, and I mean it's like flesh red. It's like red, and then I see white, and I'm like, oh great heavens, that is my bone that I believe I am seeing. I probably turn pale white. I probably get pretty much close to fainting, and I say, hey, I need to go to the emergency room like now. And she's like, okay. And keep in mind, this is coming off of like, I'm like, yo, like I came through some of the worst back pain of my life ever. And then I got healed for like a few days. Have one of the best days that I've had in a long time. And then I get this where I'm in the emergency room and this doctor's like pretty much like, she's like, hey, do you feel any of this? I'm like, feel any of what? She's like, any of me like sort of like digging around. I'm like, I don't really feel anything. And she's like, well, a lot of this is dead skin. It's gonna have to come off. And I go, okay, you gotta do what you gotta do. And then this whole time I'm praying, I'm like, Lord, like, please just don't let it hurt. Like, Lord, let it just be okay. It was not okay. The doctor gets a culture of it. She's like, hey, I'm gonna send this down to the lab for a culture, but it's clearly infected. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start you on some of the strongest antibiotics that I know of and can give to you. Please don't do anything heavy lifting or like like move around too much because this tends to make your bones brittle. And I go, okay. Shannon takes pictures of it. She doesn't get real queasy. What I had thought was a bone was pretty much just the fat. After that day, I couldn't walk around on it. I could not walk around or put pressure on it. And keep in mind, I was still working a corporate job. I worked on the second floor. And thankfully, it was kind of wheelchair accessible for the most part, but they didn't give me like a disability placard. So I was parking on a hill and like taking this like scooter thing, because after the first day of using a crutch, I was like, I can't do this. I need a scooter or something. And I was scooting around, my old job. While I was doing that, I was still recovering, but because all I could do at the time was literally like go to work, go home, sleep. Like I was in that state probably for the better part of like almost like a month and a half before I could really start walking around. That was probably some of the darkest times of honestly like my life. And God bless Shannon, because she was helping me throughout all of it. Like I couldn't change my own like my wound dressing. So every single night, Shannon would look at it, inspect it, clean it, dress it, and wrap it. I love you, babe. She probably already knew. I might have hinted at it, but I just got into like this deep, dark hole. At the time, while I was going through this as well, an opportunity presented itself in terms of another job opportunity. And they had, sort of sought me out and thought I was a great fit for a certain position. And I was like, yeah, let me pray about it. And let me, think about it. And in my heart, I wanted to do it because I knew the corporate world, the money was good, but it was never like fulfilling. Money's great, but it's kind of like soul sucking. In my heart, I knew, I was like, this is not where I want to be. This is not where I'm meant to be. This is not where I thrive. And this opportunity that like presented itself for sure wasn't the wisest jump in terms of monetary wise. And obviously like being adults, we got bills to pay, rent, all that stuff like that. I was dealing with like potentially either losing this opportunity. To me, it's never about how much money can I make, especially as I get later on in life, you know what I mean? I want to live life now how I sort of want to. So all this time I get all these depressive thoughts. Am I going to be able to walk again normally? Is this ever going to heal? And this whole time, Shannon's just, reassuring me. She's praying with me. I'm praying. And the place that was sort of like, wanting to recruit me was like, hey, we kind of need an answer by this date. And in faith, I took it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. And I talked over with Shannon, and we figured out how we can make it work. Spoiler alert, I'm doing way better now. I am healed from the first initial infection. It got me thinking around like sort of like the November, December time. I really wanted to make this year, like I have a word for this year, like my word that I'm focusing on is intentionality. I wanted to be really intentional about the things that I do, who I do it with. So the list that I made before going into the year of our Lord 2026, was a list of 40 things, 40 goals that I want to accomplish. And I've had to actually revise it because of some things that happened this year, and some news that I've gotten this year. So I had to revise the list. So the initial list was still 40 things, but now because I had to revise it, it's now just 38. I'm still thinking about those other 2 things that I want to add, but I want to go over the list with you. Alright, so I was editing the video and I was gonna go into the 40 things, but I decided that it started to just get a little long. So the next part will be actually going over the 40-40. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks for listening.